Hello, everyone, and welcome to the episode 79 of the Office Hours podcast. We're happy to welcome back Mo. Um, I'm not exactly sure what he's giggling about, but I guess we'll find out in a second. Hey, Mo, how's it going?
It's good. You know what? It's going well. I just got back not too long ago from the gym, and
Nice.
uh, and then I was at the gym. I started to. So I've been going to this gym now for like 4 years or so, and there's some faces you see at the gym, like you just see them constantly, you know. But I've never really said hello or hi to anyone at the gym. I go there, do my workout, and go home, you know. And now I'm
As
thinking
God
to myself,
intended.
and now I'm thinking, like, I see some people actually socializing at the gym, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you know what? Maybe this is actually something that I should be doing too. Do you socialize when you go to the gym?
Yeah, sometimes, but it's a slippery slope. The times have changed. First, you start socializing at the gym, and then you're gonna start filming videos on a tripod and posting them to TikTok whenever somebody crosses. And then
Yeah,
Joey Swall will make a video
yeah,
saying how you should mind your own business, and like
yeah.
it's a slippery slope. You just come in, work out, say hello. You can just give like a appreciative
Yeah.
nod to somebody,
Mhm.
and kind of like that. That's good enough.
That's all I do. But I was so what really made me start thinking about it was like one day, um, someone came, I mean, like someone came to ask me like, oh, can I how many, you know how like someone can ask you like how many more sets do you have to or with this machine? And I was just like, oh, well, if you really need to use it, I can use another machine. So I just let her use the machine, and then I
Hmm.
went somewhere else to just like, and I was fine doing it. Like I'm good with doing it, you know? And after that day, I feel like the person probably thought of me as like a stock up, like, someone that doesn't want to like socialize at all, like, I don't know, because every time the look is different. The look is like, how like someone is looking at you like that. I don't know, this is weird, but anyway, I came back from the gym and I started analyzing my social life. But maybe I can do better too. Do you, are you feeling sorry for me or what?
No, I just think that you probably think way too much about what other people think about you.
Maybe, honestly, maybe because no, but I think it's true because I feel like sometimes I think she's there with her brother, and sometimes like, and I go to this gym and I feel like I I might be very memorable at the gym, like maybe a bit different, So like I feel like sometimes the brother might they talk among themselves and like sometimes I've seen them point fingers or something like like point looks or something like that. So yeah, I've seen it. But then again, you're right. Maybe it's just nothing. So this was just funny to me, and I was just trying to analyze my social life. Like, there's nothing wrong in a bit like, hey, what's up? Especially if you've seen yourself for that long, like 4 years. I don't think it's that bad. But the only reason why I don't talk to people at the gym is that I don't want you to start to like talk to me when I'm trying to get my workout done. Because now I budget 1 hour for this training. And now we have to socialize for like what? Talk about this stuff for what? For like 30 minutes? Or what? I don't know. Maybe, honestly, maybe it's not so much of a bad thing. Do you train these days though? I
uh,
won't
I,
ask you.
I started again. We finally cleared out the basement of all of the boxes
Mhm.
that were basically the entire thing was just filled with boxes and boxes. I couldn't even get to my rack, but thankfully all that stuff got moved uh, into an office and a office slash warehouse type deal. So now the basement is clear again, and I have access to my weights rack. So I
Mhm.
started working out again. Not anything crazy, but I'm like just getting back into it.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, it's almost summer. What are you gonna do, Vasili? Are you ready with your
Well,
summer body?
I got
Well,
fat, so I gotta do something about it. I decided to go 100% carnivore for the month of May at least and see how it goes.
seriously,
Yeah. It's been a week and a half now.
you should have told me. We could have done it together.
Oh, like you can still join. I mean, I had a
Yeah.
couple of cheat days, what with my birthday and all. But it's going well. I pulled out the old the blood sugar meter thing to make sure.
Oh, you're really doing
Um,
it.
yeah, I haven't been doing that in a really long time. Like I haven't been doing that in a really long time. But now
Okay.
I'm back, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. Because I
Yeah.
got pretty heavy there for a moment.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's winter. It's what we do in the winter. You.
Yeah, it is, but it also isn't. It's just complacency and laziness again. It's just like
Hmm.
eating all the junk and too many cookies with coffee, stuff like that. It gets to you pretty fast.
You know what? I have this question for you. Do you? I know about the law of use and disuse, but I
Yes.
don't know if it covers this particular question, right? I used to say to myself, like, I want to train. I want to actually train just to like be able to move properly. I'm not trying to go to the Olympics. This is where I train just moderately, right? So I used to think that if you train heavily in your 20s, like in your youth, and then by the time you get to like your 60s or like your late 50s and you no longer have the energy to actually train anymore, like how much does that hurt you?
From anecdotally from what I heard, like if you were comfortable training heavy in your youth, it would come back to you much quicker. That like if you haven't trained a day in your life and then you hit 50 and you decided to start lifting weights, it's going to be much tougher. Uh and I I again, I don't know that much about it. There's so many different opinions on it, but I don't think that you necessarily have to like kill yourself in the gym every time. I think it's depending again on your goals. You can achieve a lot with just body weight for a lot of things. Like there's this guy
Mm,
on YouTube who does basically body weight and various stretching and plyometrics. The guy's like crazy flexible and he can like just contort his body in all sorts of crazy ways. Just so he's focusing mostly like on mobility
mhm.
specifically, like
Okay.
keeping your muscles and ligaments like well stretched out and kind of primed. Because if you're going for bodybuilder style hypertrophy, that's one thing. But if you just want healthy muscle mass, that's a different thing too. And I think like people who go for crazy athletic pursuits, like they don't necessarily have the best of health. In all
Hmm.
fairness, right? It's like I think people kind of tend to associate, like they see a ripped guy and be like, "Oh, this guy must be really healthy." It's like that's not necessarily so, because a lot of times, in order to be like very visibly ripped, you have to lose a lot of body fat, which is also not ideal. You have to lose a lot of water, which is not ideal, and then the what you call it, the siren call of various chemicals to enhance your performance is also there. You might succumb to that and start
Mm,
taking something, to get
mm.
more ripped. So I don't know. It really depends on what you're trying to do.
Well,
I'd like to exercise more. It is again, it's the thing that I have to force myself to do because unfortunately with all of the on and off type training that I've been doing throughout my life, which was not that much,
mhm.
I never really developed a consistent habit out of it. Like it's very easy for that habit to get disrupted. Um, and it's basically like okay, we have to consciously like bring it back, and then you slip, and then kind of relax, and it sort of falls apart. But it is possible. It just requires consistent effort. But
Okay.
things that require consistent effort get progressively harder with life because you just get more lazy and complacent.
Yeah, true. Honestly, this was something I was thinking about like a few years ago, and maybe like pre-COVID. I used to feel like this, like, no, I don't want to do it. But then I started learning about the benefits of doing it. I'm like, well, you know what? You do what you can do right now, and then when you get to that stage of like, maybe I'm gonna play paddle. What do you
Mm-hmm.
call it? What do you
Table
call it?
tennis, ping
No,
pong.
no, no.
Oh,
The one
pickleball.
Pickleball. I'm probably gonna play pickleball if I come back to
Everybody's
the
playing
gym.
freaking pickleball. It's great.
Do you
And the
play?
cool thing is, we like last year when we were on vacation in Hawaii, there was this basically we rented a place which is at like a timeshare type thing. So there was
Mhm.
like a lot of old people there. I guess they bought that timeshare like in their
Mhm. Mhm.
30s and now they're enjoying that timeshare. But a lot of them were playing pickleball and they're like
Yeah.
60 plus and they're like
Yeah.
super excited to go play pickleball. I never played
Yeah.
pickleball myself, but everybody says it's all the rage.
I mean, I don't know if I want to play now, but
Mm.
I see people who play like next to where I play like tennis because I played
Hmm.
in the summer. I play the lawn tennis. So, but this is the plan. If I get to 50, 60, and I can't really lift anything anymore, well, I'll just play pickleball and enjoy my life. Or maybe play golf, It's a sport
Well,
too.
I think what basically they say, I guess for golf, if you have strength, it basically improves your results. But I don't think you can necessarily build strength from playing golf. I mean, it's nice outside, you walk around and things like that, but
Mhm.
it's not gonna be something that you use to build strength. And from everything that I keep hearing is that the more like if you have consistent physical exercise,
Mhm.
your longevity increases quite drastically and quality of life too, like your health span increases. And the other thing, like yesterday we went to this farm, just as an excursion with the animals and all that. And the owner of the farm, he's still running it and operating it. He's probably like definitely in his 70s, maybe even like closer to his 80s. And he and his family, like they have a huge family, like 19 grandchildren or something, they said.
Mhm.
So obviously there's plenty of people to work, but it's a massive farm, and working the farm is a really labor-intensive endeavor. He's very spry. I mean, he's old, but he's like fit, like not like slobby looking, and he just does like all of these chores at the farm, and he stays healthy, and he seems very sharp and all of these things. So it's like, well, there's a guy who's doing a lot of like meaningful physical activity. Like his cognitive function is
Yeah.
definitely all there with him.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
don't want to necessarily not do anything and then it's like, oh shit, I'm 50. I guess time to take care of my health. Like by that time, you've been missing out on it for like the last 30 years or
Yeah,
even more.
you could make up for it with like vitamins, like you get all those like supplements and those, but this is not a good
Yeah,
idea. I
yeah.
don't think it's a good thing to do. But anyway, Onella, hopefully like by the time we get there, um, we'll be healthy enough to do better exercise. One time I remember like I used to work with I had this CTO one time. I think this was like in the peak of COVID or something like this. He used to say like one of the things he was complaining about was how going to the gym helps him to be a better, like to work better during the day.
Hmm.
Like if you train, you will sleep well and I was thinking about it too. Like I feel like sometimes maybe this little habits can make difference in your performance really like maybe for example some people who the set of people who actually swear that they go to the gym very early in the morning. I mean, just saying, do you, but you're not impressing me. but I find like if you're able to like keep this type of habit, I feel like it makes a difference though, like it
Well,
makes a
how
difference.
much of it is like Instagram posturing? It's like, yeah, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I go to the gym. It's like, well, good for you, man. But like,
Yeah, I mean,
is it like the fact that you go there at 4 is the fact that you go there at 4 a.m. actually meaningful to your results overall in life, or is it just like an anecdote of your life? And somebody else who goes to the gym at reasonable hour and like does not sacrifice their sleep is probably doing as well, but they're like not yapping about it on the Instagram all day. So like, who's to say, right?
yeah, who knows? Nobody knows. But I was
And
just starting to think like maybe these kind of things can actually have like a direct impact on like performance or not. What do you
Well,
think?
I think if you get your blood circulation going, it's definitely good overall, because ultimately if you have all of that primed and ready to go, you probably get better brain activity as well, because it's just like all of the stuff is released, the nutrients and all the
Mhm.
hormones in your blood, and help you work better overall. I don't know, but the thing is what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something and it kind of
But
slipped my
aren't they
mind.
tired? Like, I feel like you get tired though. Because for me, when I tried it one time and I noticed like I can barely make it past lunch after this.
Right. Well, that's I don't know. I have some ideas about that. I was gonna say, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say again. Oh, right, I remember now. Um, so like making yourself go to the gym is a massive effort. Making yourself wake up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym, like forget about it. You have like two insurmountable problems in front of you where you barely have strength to do just one of them. So like just I don't think it's if you're not doing it already, trying to model that type of behavior because some influencer online is doing it. And again, it's like you're attributing their results. It's a cargo cult. You're attributing their results to the actions that they're doing without understanding which actions actually contribute to the results. So you start repeating the visible actions like, oh, if I go to the gym at 4, therefore X. But going there at 4 a.m. has nothing to do with it,
Mm,
right? But that's the thing you see. Or
okay.
they say, oh, I read this book and I only eat chicken and spinach, and that's why I get those results. And you replicate that, but maybe they're on the juice and they're just not telling anybody. Many such cases. So
Mm,
don't replicate the things you see without understanding them, thinking that they will bring you that result, because that's probably not the thing. Like,
so,
actually understand what you need to do.
did you see the video of that guy who was putting his face in water at 6 o'clock in the morning? Oh, well, there is a
Was he
video
doing
that
like
was
a cold plunge for his face?
yeah. He wakes up early in the morning. He's like putting his face in like a bowl of ice.
To
And
me,
people,
that kind of seems like that Patrick Bateman American Psycho routine. It's just a little psychotic, just a tiny little bit, you know.
I mean, we could. The jury's out because I read about it. I feel like cold water has some benefit to in the
Well,
morning. Cold
there's
plunges.
things to be said about like cold shock proteins and all that good stuff, and I think if you do cold showers,
Hmm.
that also is beneficial. And in fact, like last year, I was doing them when it was summer and it was warm, but by the time it hit winter, like if you wake up and it's frigid, it's just so unpleasant. But then they say
Yeah.
like if you force yourself to do unpleasant things, you train the part of your brain that helps you do unpleasant things, so you get actually better at
Oh,
making yourself do unpleasant things. I just feel like they were just way too unpleasant to to do that.
you drew the line.
It's like, you
Well,
know what? It's like my
yeah.
dad used to go to swim every morning, and when I just came to Canada, I was still living with them at their place, and he was like, "Okay, you should wake up and go to the swimming pool with me." And first of all, like waking up early in the morning was just torture for me. I mean, it's okay now, but back then it was torture. And then having to like jump in a cold water and swim. I tried it for like maybe a week and then I was like, fuck this. I don't know. Maybe that was a mistake. Maybe I should have stuck with it. Maybe it would
Hmm.
have been much better for me if I did. But it was just such a. And again, it was like two things at once. First one was like waking up when I did not want to wake up. And on top of it, it's like, okay, now I have to jump in cold water and swim. I mean, I enjoy swimming in general. It's just like those two things together at that time was
Mm.
just like a absolute non-starter.
Well, now you put this in my mind. Now I'm thinking about it. Maybe swimming in the morning might not be a bad idea, but we'll see. We'll see. Also, I wanted to ask you about this. Like, I feel like some people who have like ADHD,
Mm-hmm.
like they tend to um find a lot of benefits in like physical activities because like I feel like it's like helps to regulate energy levels and stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
But Um, by the way, have you ever worked with someone who has ADHD or like on the spectrum of any level?
I don't I don't know. Maybe. I don't know, to be honest with you. Not
I
like to a
was.
degree where it's like,
Mhm.
if they were obviously high functioning, because I wasn't able to tell. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
because like I used to feel like that this is a very common thing in the among software engineers or like software developers in general. I feel like most of us are actually on the spectrum at some level. And maybe some of us are diagnosed, some of us are not. But I used to feel like this is actually a thing. But I never really like understand if it's the job or if it's just like there is a personality that is required to do the job very well.
I think it's both. I think that, and I think I said that before, is that it does shape you as well, like in reverse. I think it's helpful to be kind of on the spectrum to enjoy this type of stuff. But as I actually mentioned in a previous episode, is that
Mhm.
if you talk to computers all the time, it's different compared to talking to people. So I think you definitely get more autistic as you do it. So, I don't know to what degree, but I think that because like the computer is a very deterministic thing, it pretty much, barring some weird physical phenomena, it will always do what you tell it to do. Whereas that is never true with people. And so if you talk to computers a lot, you have this expectation that
People will do what you
your
tell.
instructions are understood and will be followed exactly, because that's what computers do,
Mhm.
and people do the exact opposite. So I think there's definitely some feedback loop where it kind of starts pushing you a little bit in a different place. I don't know. It's very anecdotal, very non-scientific. I don't know if there's any kind of study to prove or disprove that, and I don't even know how you run such a study, because like the average follow-up would have to be like decades to gain something meaningful out of this.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's just a thought that I keep having every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, the reason why I was asking is because like I was starting to notice some patterns, right? Like over time, I've been like trying to, even some of the people that I've worked with in the past and stuff like this, I was trying to like measure how much of social intelligence can we actually um say that we have like as in this field. Because sometimes I find like there are a lot of people with strong opinions, you know, like when you work like, I mean, not necessarily in this industry, but like generally there are people who have like really strong opinions and they are known for their opinions, and there are some people who have opinions but they're fine if you don't take this opinion, like they tell you and they just like leave it in your court, right? And there are some people like if you don't take their opinion, it's you will have to go to court to settle the fight, you know.
I think
So
that I don't know if Gen Xers are probably not like this, but I recently watched an episode of another podcast, and the guy basically said like millenniums, they all have like the, what did he call it? Like the main character syndrome.
yeah,
They think that they're the main character and everything revolves around them, basically.
maybe.
And they're very kind of prone to really care about what other people think about them, so they constantly
Yeah.
have to like espouse things and virtue signal, and they always care about what people think about how they look and what they say and what they wear and like who they hang out with and what kind of music they listen to and what kind of books they read. Whereas
Mm.
Gen X is like, don't give a flying fuck about any of those things. They're like happy with enjoying the things that they enjoy, and anybody else's opinion is like, who gives a shit? Like, I like it. You don't have to like it. I don't care that you think that me liking it is something bad. Like, who gives a shit, right? So they're, in terms of self-consciousness and being secure within your identity, like most Gen X probably don't have that problem nearly remotely. And I think that's why a lot of millennials like have all of these identity problems, and they have to figure out these groups that they have to belong to,
Mm-hmm.
because they're so probably miserable within themselves, because a lot of their perception of self is
Be nice to
formed by
us,
social
Vasili.
media. Huh?
Be nice to us. Be nice to us. I mean, there is social media,
That's
but
the whole
again,
point, is that I don't have to, because I don't care. I'm a Gen Xer. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, solve your own problems, goddammit.
be nice to us. I tell you, if you feel like this about millennials, I wonder what you're gonna feel like about Gen Zs. Because today I was at the gym today, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I was training. Like everyone listens to music or something at the gym, and then I saw somebody literally watching TikTok at the gym on the treadmill, and I was thinking to myself, you really had to do this, like on a treadmill watching TikTok. Why? Like why? Like is there anything else that you would rather do? Like do you get
Well,
some
okay,
time?
watching TikTok is one thing. If they're recording a TikTok in the gym, like that is grounds for revoking their membership, because screw that noise.
I mean, fair enough, honestly. It could be a possibility. Like I don't
Well,
really I
like
wouldn't
think about it. I didn't really have internet, the kind of internet that kids have today. It did not exist until I was like well in my 20s. So my formative years, where I get to be like self-conscious about my looks or the groups that I belong to, all of those things happened offline, right? I was never like cyberbullied because people deliberately did not like my Instagram post or something like that. So I never had to take it seriously. But next generation who grew up with having social media, their signal about their self-worth is like, even though there's still signal offline, like from their friends and parents, so much of it is coming from the social media, like the approval. And people chase approval on social media, especially like the younger
mm-hmm.
generation. It's crazy, right? They'll do anything
Yeah,
for fucking clicks. Like
yeah.
watching all these morons doing these stupid pranks. It's like, what are they doing it for? I mean, some of them are doing it for money, but there's a lot of copycats that don't make any money off of it, but they still do like dumber and more egregious shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's all like look at me type stuff. People need external validation. They haven't figured out a way to be happy within themselves and validate themselves from a reasonable position. Like, I mean, I accept some degree. We talked about it before. I remember, like, we were saying, like, I would accept validation from people whose opinion as I value and I respect. And there's people whose opinion I don't value and don't respect. And if they try to tell me something about myself, it'll just be instantly dismissed, because, like, who are they to tell me anything about me? Like, they know, right? But I guess for people who grew up with the onslaught of social media, that's where they get their validation from. And it's so easy to, like, it's so kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Uncertain. It can change at any moment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much easier also to be like a dick to people over the internet, because, you know, when I was a kid, if somebody was getting on your nerves and like taunting you and something, eventually it'll get to fisticuffs, right? But on the internet, you can have like an onslaught of shitty comments or whatever,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
like they're like in another city. Like, what are you gonna do about it, right?
yeah, set appointments. This is what millennials do. Send your
Yes, set
location. Let's meet.
appointments. It's like that final scene from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, when
What?
they like
Mhm.
make a movie, make a lot of money, and then they spend all that money flying from town to town, beating up people who left mean comments on their internet page.
This is it. You can still get it. Like you can still get it. Don't think like
So
leaving a
yeah,
good
maybe
comment
maybe
anyway.
that should be your goal in life. Like, if you're cyberbullied, become rich and successful, and then spend all that money hunting people down and beating them up for the mean things they said to you.
You know what? It's pretty easy to find people on the internet these days anyway. So like don't think like you can just like get away with it. You can be found and you can still get it, you know? But anyway, what I was asking about like the ADHD thing was because like I'm starting to see like I wonder what it feels like to work with someone like this, like someone on the spectrum, because they have a different way that the brain works. And this way it works may not necessarily fit in with like, especially if they're like, it's possible that it doesn't fit in with like the social cues that
Yeah,
are
yeah,
required,
yeah.
that
I
is
think,
required for the
yeah.
team, for
I
the
think
team,
one
you
of the
know.
things anecdotally that I heard about it is that usually there's things like very pronounced lack of filter. Like they would
Mm,
say whatever comes to mind effectively without thinking socially how that might affect people around them. Which, on one
mm-hmm.
hand, sometimes is a welcome thing. Like if somebody can call bullshit bullshit straight to everyone's face, sometimes that's better than people kind of sugarcoating everything in 27 different layers so nobody actually knows what's going on. But at the same time, if you're on the receiving end of some blunt something, that might not feel nice. And yeah, I think the other thing is like people take things literally way more often. And I mean, I used to be like that. And I mean, I am still like that. Sometimes if somebody asks me a question, even if there's like some hint of sarcasm or some kind of, in it,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times it would just be like, it's like watching that interview of Elon Musk to Babylon B when they like,
Ah,
there's a couple of questions where they clearly troll him, and without missing a beat, he just takes it completely seriously and like starts answering. So I
it
was
could
in that
also be a
situation
coping
myself.
mechanism, though. It could be a coping mechanism, like me.
It could be because
Oh,
it makes the other person feel very awkward because they did not
yeah.
expect the kind of reaction that they were hoping for. So now it sort of flips that dynamic. So, but I don't know if it's a conscious thing they do, or is it just something that happens and it's just awkward because it is awkward.
Because think about it. Imagine like interviewing Elon Musk and you're making fun of him. Like, would you he's not going to let you win? Or,
I don't
I mean,
I don't think in that interview they're necessarily making fun of him per se,
like
and I think
troll.
I think he control pretty well. But again, I don't know exactly. We don't know the guy personally, so what do we know? It was just an example of like somebody's asking a trolling question, and he's like, "I'm just gonna answer it as stated. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, you're the one
Well,
asking me the question. I'm just answering it."
yeah.
So,
But
but apart
you
from that, I don't know. I think I worked with a guy who was probably
know,
close to that, but I don't know. We had a great working relationship. We still occasionally keep in touch, and the amount of not safe for work memes that we've exchanged that these days would definitely get you fired is like way up there. So solid guy, 10 out of 10. Would work with again.
you recommend.
I would recommend certainly.
Well, I mean, if so when I say social fitting socially, it's like sometimes if you work in a team, I feel like there are some unspoken um, cues that you have to pay attention to. I think this is called team fit, like fitting a particular team. I think there is a term
Hmm.
for it. I don't even know. There's an
Culture
HR
fit.
term, culture fit, something like that. So, like, and one of it could be like, if you have, let's say, for example, now, let's say some guy joins your team and he's Dev 1, Dev 2, I don't know, he joins your team. And now there is a particular way, maybe there is a library that you use or something that you do at work, and like this has been some something that is part of your tech stack in
Hmm.
your company. And now it's telling you like, you know what? No, I don't want to use this. And he's standing by it. He doesn't want to use it because he thinks it's bullshit. And it's literally telling you he thinks it's bullshit. And then now there is you who has decided to give I mean, you're a nice person, your time to like try to explain to this person And before it gets to you, someone already talked to him about it. Anyway, this person, how do you handle this kind of situation? Because now it's no longer an issue of technique. It's not like they cannot do the job, but they really just don't find themselves fit into the culture.
Well, so I guess there's two parts to it. Like, does the fact that they're potentially on a spectrum part of the fact that they don't want to don't want to use a library? Like, you can be a regular developer who doesn't want to use the library. The only
No.
difference is the person on a spectrum is more likely to say, "Oh, I think it's bullshit" to everyone's face without and not read the room.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Like
Just like,
you're saying it's bullshit too. So it's like I don't know where I'm from in Nigeria. There's a hierarchy at work. Like you don't really. There are certain things you don't say to your boss. There's certain jokes you don't even make with your boss. Like anybody who is like in the next level to you there's respect. But in Canada, like I mean, like, in this part of the world, America and stuff, but you you don't have you don't really have this. You can get away with things. Like you can make a little bit
the
of
lines
joke
are
with this.
certainly blurred. Yeah.
Yeah, lines are certainly blurred. But I find like people in this kind of I don't know if it's like a spectrum thing. I'm just asking like as a general question. Like I'm diagnosing it as a spectrum thing, but I don't know if it is or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking, in this type of scenario, what do you do if you find yourself working with someone who always want to like make their own rules, like make their own way to work that is very different from the stack of your company? What you guys do? I
Yeah, that's a
mean,
tough situation. I guess the other quality of people on a spectrum that I heard about is that they kind of want more predictability and consistency, and doing things that they're not accustomed to or have a habit of can be very difficult. So again, I don't know if is that the deciding factor, because like I mean, arguably there's at least two ways out of it. What if they're true? What if they are correct? What if it
there
is
could be.
bullshit and there's a better way, right?
There could be.
Could be.
I mean, there could be. You see, the thing is, I'm sorry, but I was just gonna explain, put more
Mm,
context to it for you. Like, um, in every conversations, right? Like there is what you think is right, what I think is right, and maybe there is a right and wrong in some cases, but mostly opinion. I could have like a really good way to defend what I think is right, and you could also have a good way to defend what you think is right. However, in a social gathering where we are all equals, we can have this and just like debate it. But in a gathering where we are like clearly not exactly on the same level and there are respected statuses, you know, I find like I would hold my tongue a little bit, you know. Me, I speak for myself. I
right.
will hold my tongue a little bit and listen more, you know. But I find like this doesn't come naturally to everyone, especially like I don't know if it's a spectrum thing because like I don't really know much about it anyway. But if it's a spectrum thing or like if it's a personality thing, because I also know like amongst devs, I feel like aside from musicians, developers might have one of the biggest egos in the world because because you really believe in yourself so much that you cannot be wrong, you know? And
I
I'm
think
trying to
that stage again, if it's a junior or intermediate, more likely they could be in that stage. But that is cured with time.
exactly. This is how I feel too, but this is the context that I'm bringing to you right now. Like, how do you handle it? Like,
Well, I
what
think that
would be
there's a
the
couple of ways you can approach it. Like, I mean, if you completely shut it down, the person might be like, well, my ideas are not being taken seriously. Well, first of all, arguably they have to make a case for it beyond just, I think it's bullshit. Because anyone can pass judgments like this that don't really, they don't force anyone to do anything, right? Like, you actually have to make a case for why you think you're right. And then you'd have to consider the implications. It's like, let's say you are right. Let's say we're a team of like 5 people and we're using some library for doing this particular set of tasks, and that library is one of many, and we picked that one for some reason. And now we have 5 devs on a team who are using this library and happy with it, with its shortcomings, whatever they may be. And now you come in and you look at it and be like, oh, there's a library that can do the same thing better, more expressive, less code, more stability, like all of those good reasons, right? It's like, okay, what happens if none of the developers on a team know it? Would it be feasible to make the switch? Like, even if you make a proposal and everybody agrees with you, to like, what would it cost to make that switch? Because that's not
mm,
free. We can't just like flip it one way. And then again,
mhm,
you can achieve things with it because you're proficient in it, but other people are not, and it might take them some time to get there. And I guess, like, I've been in that exact situation, not necessarily in exact situation, but very similar situation where we needed a handling for our business logic in the application, and I started implementing it using a library, and I explained the benefits and why I think we should be using it. And I had the hopes that people would also see it and realize why it's better and adopt it. But a lot of people seemingly either did not see it or they did not want to spend time learning about it. So they didn't really adopt it. And so that implementation didn't kind of go all the way. And I didn't want to force it either, right? Because again, you can bring the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Like, you can't necessarily
mhm.
force people to do it this way. I mean, you could for a while, but I don't think you're going to get good results. Arguably, people they should have a conviction that it is better as opposed to something being pushed on them externally, right? So even if it's a good solution that would solve some problems, it's not necessarily the solution because of all of these different reasons. And I think that if you lay it out in that way, a person could look at it and agree and be like, it's like, okay, fair enough. Even though it's a better solution, we're too invested with the current one and we don't have the budget for redoing it or refactoring it. And, maybe we'll try it on a next project or something. But like, a system that's already built has so much inertia and momentum that trying to steer it in a drastically different direction is going to be very hard. It's like trying to rapidly change a direction of one of those container freight ships. That thing is massive. It takes like half a day for it to turn.
Yeah, but you know, what I'm thinking now is that I think I see it like you do, because of course, like, you could be right, and like there could be like constraints to why it could, maybe we cannot really do it now because of like budget reasons or stuff like this. But then for me, this is how I see it, right? Like, I find like, I guess my first concern is that I don't really like it when people say, oh, you know how like people casually just call this code is bullshit, like
Mm-hmm.
this code base is bullshit, like code base is bullshit. I find it's a bit disrespectful. No, this is just me, but maybe I'm just millennial with my feelings on my hand or something like this.
You're too attached. You're too attached to the code you write.
But I find it, no, I find like I don't really talk like this.
Mm.
And when I hear people talk like this, I feel like it's a telltale sign like the person probably doesn't even write good code, because If you
Yeah.
do, you will probably like respect other people's codes. For
Well,
me, this is a
okay.
telltale sign.
So there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about here. I think one of them, according to Sturgeon's law, 80% of things are crap. So if you call something crap 80% of the time, you'll actually be right. So
Of course, yeah.
most of the stuff that people are pointing out and calling as bullshit, they're likely right. And if you're personally offended because you wrote it, you could feel that briefly, but then you can. I mean, are you saying that there's code that you've written that is perfect and nothing wrong with it? You can always look back at your code and be like, yeah, that code isn't that great. So there's some validity to that claim that you can't even argue with for most part, even if you wrote it.
Of course, like I, of course, every time I write code, the one I wrote last week, I'm probably looking at it like,
He's like, what idiot wrote that? He's like, oh,
this
wait,
is,
get blame. Of course I know him. He's me.
you know what? Something happened recently, yeah. Like I think I was talking about some security stuff, and I was concerned about some pipes and all. And I was really like suggesting that we do some refactors to like how we implemented these pipes, and like I was talking about it with like some of the staff devs. And I randomly just like right click to see who wrote it. And then I saw my name.
Classic. Absolute classic.
I mean,
Well, then you have all the authority to say that that code is crap because it's like, hey, I wrote it and I know it's crap.
well, so I just quickly close it, you know. I mean, good thing is I know better now, so like I'm glad that I'm in a position to say like I know much better and like to do better also. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
that's by the way. The point I was trying to like learn from you is like how to like manage like people who have like a different personality that doesn't really like seem to fit into the team, but you have to work with them anyway. And also devs with like really big egos. So, because my go-to would have been probably to like people with big egos, they like their egos being stroked. You could stroke their ego into into them agreeing with everything you want to do and just making them believe like
Yeah.
they're the best. But I don't know if this is a good thing to do.
I think you're ultimately reframing it because the thing is like, if you say, well, like, what is it gonna take? That doesn't immediately tell them that you're opposed, right?
Hmm.
But it's like now they actually have to consider all of the aspects. It's like, okay, it's the army rule. Whoever complains about shit is the person that gets to fix it, right? So, okay,
Exactly.
tough guy, how about you propose a plan on how we migrate off of that thing and then tell us
Hmm.
how much it's going to cost and you are going to be the one developing it. And if they have all the enthusiasm for it and they really think they can make it done and you have time and like the thing is like if you let them do it and they actually do it and succeed, they're going to be so motivated to do stuff in the future. Like you have no idea. Because if you shut it down, it'll be like it's like that little thermometer of bullshit that they fill up in their brain and be
Mm.
like, they didn't let me to work on the thing I was really passionate about. That's like another coin into the piggy bank of me getting the fuck out of here. So I
Mm.
think you have to manage these things very carefully because if you just, and the second thing that I was going to talk about is that if you have a very rigid hierarchy where everyone is very deferential to people above them, pushing through new ideas and approaches becomes such a political and bureaucratic nightmare. And if you don't have fresh ideas injected into the system constantly, you're going to calcify, stagnate, and die. So that's not a good, like,
Mm.
you don't want like ultra liberal structure where the person who comes in after hours to clean your office starts changing your application architecture all of a sudden. But at the same time, you don't want to be like, well, the boss says it is so, therefore, who am I to critique or argue? It has to
Yeah.
be somewhere in the middle. And the thing is, like, a lot of companies, it's kind of funny because a lot of companies, like, yeah, we have the open door policy. You can talk about whatever. We're going to listen. And as soon as you start criticizing anything they make, everyone's like so pissed off at you, even though technically, according to what they say, it should be perfectly fine to
Mm-hmm.
do that, but it's never
Mm-hmm.
fine. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of a little.
That's where the social intelligence comes, you know. Like, if you know this, and for this is me, I feel like if you know this, like I find like there should be where you draw the line. Like, I'm just gonna let it go. I've said it. I've put the ball outside, and I'm just gonna let the ball sit with you. You know.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I like this too. Like, cause there was a time I used to really like be like this. I find like maybe I learned this not too long ago, to be honest. Maybe like 7 years ago or so. Cause like there was a time where I used to really be very opinionated. Like if I believe in something, I will stick to it and tell it to your face till you agree with me, you know?
I
And
think everybody goes through that phase in their life. Some people grow out of it, some don't.
and one day someone told me like, I think she was like, you know what? It's not because I'm not agreeing with you that I don't think you're right. I I hear you and I know, but I don't have to agree with you. And in that moment I realized that, you know what? I'm wasting my energy here just arguing, bringing point. Like I've said it. You've
Yeah.
heard me. It's up to you now if you feel like you want to take care of it. So
Well, yeah.
I don't know if like this is a thing that you teach people or like you just let them figure it out. Because I'm not gonna be arguing with the directors or something like this and telling them like yeah, the entire code base is bullshit. Like yeah, and like we have to. I'm not gonna say
Well, the thing
this.
is again, it could be true. So what? Like even if it is true, like what is like it's it again it's like in the political domain, everybody's constantly complaining about this or that not going the way they want to go. But complaining's easy, and even pointing out the fact that something is broken, okay, fair enough, maybe you're brave for pointing out that something's broken, but unless you actually propose something meaningful of how to get out of that situation, all it is basically is just complaining. It's like, yeah, it's bullshit. Well, yeah, okay. Now what?
Yeah, but anyway, I guess there's a different way to handle it. Maybe like as a coworker, I would imagine like maybe as a co-worker, there's a different way to handle this kind of situation differently as a manager. As a manager, I guess you can like tell them to go fix it if you feel like it. But as a co-worker, I feel like it kind of puts a bit of a strain on your day to day because now you have to, aside from dealing with your work, now you have to deal with this person too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
oh,
it's hard to please everybody in that scenario, but basically the other thing that's going to happen is like if people come to you with valid criticisms, and let's say they come with you not just with criticism but with the path forward, which would require some effort or resources on the team's part. If you keep consistently shut them down, after a couple of tries, they'll stop coming to you with problems. They'll stop giving a shit about it. They'll be like, fuck it, I don't care. I'll just, I just don't care anymore. And I think that that's when you lose them. Like, first you lose them in spirit as a team member, and then you lose them in body because they'll quit and go someplace else.
mm,
So it has to be balanced because ultimately people still want to get what they want to
mhm,
get, right? So if
mhm,
you never let them have anything,
mhm,
it'll be like, well, why do I even bother? Why do I care so? Because ultimately, a lot of things like that, like a lot of the complaining, there's people who are just complaining about everything. I'm not talking about those. But complaining in that way is just a form of expression of your dissatisfaction of something because you care. Like, if you don't care, you're not going to complain about anything, right?
Mm.
So you may say, "Oh, this person never complains about anything." It's like, yeah, because he doesn't give a shit about anything. Like, why does he have to complain? So, at
I
least
don't know if
maybe not always, but I think that that's definitely a part of it. And so once people stop caring, they will definitely stop complaining, but they also stop caring, which definitely it's like an inflection point where a lot of people, I believe, in that situation would start looking at their exit. So you lose them in spirit, but not in body at the time.
I don't. I mean, some people complain because they care, but I have seen situations where like people complain because it makes them feel relevant.
It's true, but that's the whole bike shedding thing. People who care would complain about things that are quite fundamental. People who like to complain to assert their dominance will complain about the minutest bullshit, like tabs versus spaces or Vim versus
Oh my
Emacs. Like,
God.
you
You
know,
you you brought the good example. You brought the good example. You know what? A while ago, I worked with someone. Um, I hope they're not watching this. But I mean, a while ago, there was someone I used to work with or like work with. But and um, we were talking about single columns versus double
no
column.
semicolons. Yeah,
And I was thinking to myself, like, I mean, I get it. I get it that it means a lot to you.
it's a
But
really odd hill to die on.
like, I get it. That it means a lot to you. It's like, oh yeah, like yeah, this makes the code beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, but beauty is in the eye of the
Does it though?
beholder.
Beauty is relative.
Beauty is relative, like if it means so much to you, it doesn't have to mean that has to mean so much to everyone. But anyway, I just I just I just keep learning about like different personalities that
Yeah.
in recent times, and I find this to be one thing that keeps coming back to me because I'm like, hmm, what would I do in this case? Like, if I'm a manager and I have someone like this on my team, how would I handle it? Because, like you said, I'm not going to want to shut them down because I'm losing a creative juice here. Maybe one day the juice will actually bring something good. But until then, we continue to water it and, like, take care of it. Maybe. But then again, I feel sorry for the coworkers who work with this person because every day they are looking at the person like, I'm about to ship you out of the window.
Well,
But-
that's a different thing. And I think the other thing too is like the person could be right about their diagnosis, but they actually may be overconfident in their ability to follow through. And as they go through half of it, they realize that, oh, it's not as rosy as I'd have imagined, and actually doing it properly makes it more complicated and more like we're actually not getting all of the benefits that I thought about at the first glance because they like overestimated their own capacity. So sometimes maybe checking that ego a little bit and giving them a little bit of a humble pie of their own baking is a good thing too. It's like, well, you go do it and see how well it goes for you because, many brave people tried before you and this is what we have right now. So there's obviously a reason for it. I mean, obviously you don't have to frame it in such antagonistic terms, but it's again, like they might not see everything and you might not see it either. So it's like, okay, try it. And then halfway through it, be like, yeah, you know what? It's actually not working out so great. But again, because of budgets and all those other things, not many companies are just willing to go for an experiment like that.
yeah.
So yeah, do it in your own project and then see how it
I
works.
mean, I don't know if we have more time, but I want to still ask you this final. What do you
Mm.
consider as culture fit, actually? Like, for you, what does this even mean to you?
Oh, I don't know. We talked about it a couple of episodes ago, didn't we? We like spent a whole
I
bunch of
mean,
time
maybe
on
a few
culture
years
fit.
ago. I
No,
feel
no,
like
no.
it's
That was
something.
fairly recent too. We had like one like
Really?
3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, indulge me, please. What do you consider as culture fit?
So I don't even know. It's such a vague term. People put meaning behind it that I don't always read. I don't know. I think that If you want, we can probably tackle it next time because I would have to
Okay.
think about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Off the
Put a
top
pin
of
on
my
it.
head, it's really hard to say. And it kind
Put
of
a pin
feels
on
like we
it.
did talk about it a bunch already. So
I would remember, but I think he came up in our conversation like a while ago. But I hope you have some more to say about it next week, because I would like to learn about this again, mostly
yeah,
because
episode 70, one-on-ones and culture
really.
fit, right there. Yeah, it's been like, I mean, it's been a while ago, but not like half a year. It was in March 20. It was like less than a month
Really?
ago. It was 3 weeks
Really?
ago, Mo. Come on.
Look at me. I'm getting old, Vasili. I'm a
I
millennial
know.
now.
I'm
But
getting old too.
I wanted to ask about it because why does it feel like a long time ago? Ah, I miss
Time
you,
flies
man.
when you're having fun, Mo.
Really, that's what it is. That's what it is. So anyway, we'll put a pin on it, and next week I'm gonna ask you more about it. Cause like I want to ask you in terms of like people who have this spectrum thing, like on this spectrum, could they be considered how do can they fit into this? Because what is it if all of us don't have the same type of brain anyway? Like how do we even fit? Like if we don't all have the same kind of brain and like our brain don't work the same way, like we don't really see life the same way, like we don't really see things the same way.
But
And
that's not
do you
required. I think that we're getting again into this millennial conformity argument. It's like I can have opinions completely different from yours as long as we can get the job done. So, but yeah, let's talk about it next time.
yeah, put a pin on it next week. All
All
right,
right.
Vasily, thank you.
Thanks, Mo. It's been fun. Everybody else who's watching, we'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye.
All right, bye.